Ready? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 1,643rd meeting of the Board of Trustees, Metropolitan Sewer District. Can I get a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Wabi.
Here.
Ms. Fair.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Singer.
Here.
Mr. Evans.
Yes.
Mr. Yates.
Yes.
Everyone is here.
Okay, can I get approval of the journal of the preceding meeting?
So move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All vote by the usual sign. Ayes have it. Comments by the chair. I'm turning the floor over to Mr. Singer. Would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you, Mike. It's an honor to be at my last meeting with the chair. We've served together for, I guess, over 5 years. And I just have a few remarks I wanted to share with staff and the other trustees. You know, first, I want to thank all of you for serving with you. I feel like I've learned far more than anything I may have given you. I really have just tremendous respect for the MSD management team, you know, Brian, Tim, and I'm kind of reluctant to mention anybody's name for fear of leaving them out, but it is just a remarkable team that's in place in operating MSD, and also want to give credit to the men and women that make MSD operate every day. You know, it's a utility that I think the public takes for granted. You know, every time they flush a toilet or it rains and the rainwater magically disappears, and then every once in a while it doesn't quite work, and that's I guess when the calls come in. But it's just a remarkable job what MSD does for the community. I will say I wanted to express to the board members that, you know, there is an important role for the board to play, in my opinion, even in spite of the fact that we've got this competent management team. You know, it's bringing together your common sense and collective wisdom and experiences. There are times when I think the board has contributed something extra that, you know, to the decisions made here at MSD. So I would encourage all of you to speak up, ask questions when things come up that you have a question about. You know, in the recent years, things have been relatively quiet at MSD. I think Mike could confirm this, that the first year or so that I was on, which was maybe one of Mike's early years, it wasn't that way. You know, there can be controversy here at MSD, and I hope that you don't have to face that, but if you do, I know the management will need your assistance. There was one project that I was working on. It was kind of pending. I was working on it with Tim. This will really be my last opportunity to speak to you as a trustee, so I just want to briefly communicate to you the conclusion that I have come to, that you'll then have to resolve, with Tim, and I'm sure whatever you decide will be the right decision. But I've concluded that the board needs to terminate Aon as the investment consultant for your plans. You know, Tim and I had an interview with one of the top, maybe the top official, and I just think Aon has a failure of leadership, and that this investment that we didn't go into but came awful close, it was just kind of happenstance that we didn't, was not appropriate for us, and that Aon just really didn't understand the risk of the investment or how to monitor it, and has really still not come to grips with it. So that's kind of my parting comment to the board. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve with all of you. I'm sorry, my one regret is during the last year with the pandemic, I couldn't be there and we couldn't all meet in person. I think, you know, we certainly carried out the business of MSD, but we do lose something not meeting in person. So thank you, Mike, and thank you to all of you and Brian and Tim and everybody. I really appreciated this. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Jim.
Thanks for your service.
Anybody else have anything they want to say to Jim before we continue? Okay, reports of board committees. Trustee Furr, audit.
Yes, this is the audit committee report from March 2nd, 2021. The audit committee meeting started at 7:40 a.m. on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. In attendance were trustees Fair, Evans, Singer, Wabi, Wilson, and Yates. The chairman had no introductory comments. The committee approved the minutes from the December 1st, 2020 meeting. Next, personnel from the CPA firm Clifton Larson Allen LLP presented the required planning communications for the auditing engagement services to be formed for fiscal 2021, which included the engagement package for the district's entity-wide financial statements, as well as the financial statements for the district's 3 retirement benefit plans. The presentation included information regarding the engagement team, the new GASBs potentially impacting the district, the overall engagement plan, as well as the engagement scope and the related deliverables. Next, internal audit presented a report for an audit engagement that focused on the processes and procedures related to the district's purchase to pay business cycle. The engagement included procedures to analyze and test purchase order and payment transactional data for the 18-month scope period of January 1, 2019 through June 30, 2020. The engagement received a satisfactory or clean opinion. 2 opportunities for improvement were presented and discussed with the committee. The 2 items focused on potential improvements in the areas of purchase order processing timeliness and separation of duties within the overall purchase process. During the presentation, questions were addressed by internal audit as they were received from the committee. The meeting adjourned at approximately 8:10 a.m. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. This concludes the audit committee report.
Thank you, Trustee Furr. Program Management Committee report.
Mike, am I good to go?
Yes.
Thank you. The audit committee meeting started at 7:40 a.m. on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. In attendance were trustees Fair, Evans, Singer, Wabi, Wilson, and Yates.
He's going with audit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trustee Evans, I think we're ready for the program management committee. Do you have those minutes?
My apologies, I was on the wrong page. The program management committee met on March 2nd, 2021 at 8:13 a.m. The meeting was attended by trustees Yates, Wilson, and Evans, Fair, Singer, and Wabi via online. The minutes of the February 2nd, 2021 meeting were approved. The agenda items to be introduced tonight were presented and discussed, including a detailed discussion regarding the following items. Ordinance number 15629, Earth City Shoreline Pump Station. Staff discussed this unplanned supplemental appropriation to an existing project being constructed by Kelp Contracting. Staff is requesting an additional $150,000 to complete construction. This supplemental funding is required for additional dewatering costs encountered during the construction. Ordinance number 15630. Staff provided details of a CSO volume reduction green infrastructure grant being awarded to reduce combined sewer overflows to the Mississippi River per the consent decree. Staff provided details of a grant being awarded to Webster School Senior Apartments for the construction of various volume reducing improvements on their property. Ordinance number 15633, Market Street Green Infrastructure Landscaping and Entrance Improvements. Staff provided details of improvement plans for the MSD headquarters. The project will include 3 rain gardens, native landscaping, parking lot resurfacing, sidewalks, and provide a new ADA access ramp to the front entrance of the facility. The improvements will replace deteriorating entrance and will provide public education and outreach on green infrastructure and water quality. Ordinance number 15637, MSD vehicle storage building. Staff provided details of improvements planned MSD Minturn operations yard. The project will include the construction of a building to house 10 Vector trucks during inclement weather and freezing temperatures. The project also includes the replacement of the vehicle fueling station and adds facilities for truck washing. These improvements support the district's stormwater operation and maintenance program. The next committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for March 30, 2021. The meeting was adjourned at 8:35 a.m.
Thank you, Trustee Evans. Trustee Furr, we have the Finance Committee report.
Yes, the Finance Committee met on March 2nd, 2021 with Trustees Fair, Singer, Evans, Gates, Wabi, and Wilson in attendance. The meeting from the February 2nd, 2021 meeting were approved. The first item on the agenda consisted of a discussion of Aon Hewitt Investment Consulting relating to the fourth quarter pension plan performance. Aon stated that the plan assets returned 9.7% in the fourth quarter, which was a strong return and consistent with the policy benchmark of 9.8%. Aon representatives also discussed the fourth quarter performance of the defined contribution and deferred compensation plans. Next on the agenda was a resolution authorizing staff to update the list of approved depository banks, including Huntington National Bank as an approved depository bank and an approved security dealer of the district. This will be resolution number 3647 on tonight's agenda. Next was a report by staff on the district's operating fund portfolio as of February 28, 2021. Staff stated that the portfolio complies with the district's investment policy. Staff reported on the current financial condition of the district as of December 2020 and stated that the district continues to be financially stable. Next on the agenda was a staff request to transfer fund balances from several debt service funds to debt service funds 2011A, 2020B, 2021A, 2021B, and the general fund. These types of transfers are conducted on an annual basis to adjust for differences in actual and budgeted debt payments due to the timing of the issuance of senior and subordinate bonds. An appropriation of $2,048,000 was also requested to the Debt Service Fund 2020B in order to pay a debt service due in May. This will be resolution number 3645 on tonight's agenda. The next item on the agenda consisted of a request for board approval of a budget transfer from the Water Backup Fund to the Wastewater Emergency Fund in the amount of $590,000 to establish minimum fund balance levels. This will be resolution number 3646 on tonight's agenda. Next, the Adjustment Review Committee reported for the quarter ending December 2020, and that was presented as required by ordinance. The meeting adjourned at approximately 9:10 a.m. The next tentatively scheduled meeting is Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. This concludes the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Trustee Furr. Stakeholder Relations Committee minutes. Trustee Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Stakeholder Relations Committee met at district headquarters on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021 at approximately 9:12 a.m. Those present at the meeting included Chairperson Wilson and Trustee Yates, as well as the district directors and staff, and participating via video web call were Trustees Evans, Fair, Singer, and Wabi. Chairperson Wilson called roll and had no further comments. By motion of all trustees, the minutes of the February 2nd, 2021 Stakeholder Committee meeting minutes were approved. The first agenda item was a discussion by Tracy Coleman regarding an ordinance for civil service rule changes. The district concluded negotiations with the labor and trade unions, and as a result, the new collective bargaining agreements required an update to the civil service rule. This update will provide clarification and align the rules with changes in the law and current business practices. It is ordinance number 15642 on tonight's agenda. The next agenda item was a discussion by Susan Meyer regarding an ordinance for lease. This ordinance will authorize MSD to enter into a lease agreement with the Holly Hills Improvement Association for them to use MSD property as a community garden. It is ordinance number 15643 on tonight's agenda. The next agenda item was a discussion by Tim Snoke regarding nominations for the board chair and vice chair positions. Tim explained the process that will take place at the March board meeting for nominating the positions of MSD board chair and vice chair and the term of each position. The new terms will begin March 16th, 2021, and end March 15th, 2023. At approximately 9:40 a.m., the trustees took roll and moved into closed session to discuss legal, confidential, or privileged matters under paragraph 610.021, parentheses 1. At approximately 10:40 a.m., the trustees moved to conclude closed session and return to open session. The meeting was then adjourned by Trustee Wilson. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. This concludes the Stakeholder Relations Committee.
Thank you, Trustee Wilson. Comments from the public. Tim, will we have some?
We do. We have 2 letters that we received today that I will read, and I think we have a little bit of a staff update on these. So the first letter was sent in by Donovan Larson regarding unresolved damage at 9818 Mar Ann Court. And this looks like the neighbor of somebody who had the issue. So the letter reads, Dear Board of Trustees, my neighbors and I are the beneficiaries of MSD's efforts to rid our backyards of a stormwater ponding problem. It has been an issue to us since 1980. Your work cost MSD customers around $250,000 and involved 450 feet of 18-inch sewer, porous fill installation, and a double inlet. We are very happy with your work. The unresolved issue is the repair of the gas pipes owned by Jane Kelo at 9818 Mar Ann Court. In February 2019, the contractor, J.H. Barrett Construction, struck a gas pipe that was marked on the plan, and there are some attached documents, that fed a gas-fired pool water heater equipment pad. The new heater was not yet installed. The release of gas brought the fire department and Spire crews. Did we go offline? For the record, I was nowhere near the laptop.
Camera, was it as he was? No, my point was, when it was before or after he started reading the letter? It was while he was reading it, okay.
I can start.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and explain what happened too when we get back online.
On the meet in the room.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there's Tammy.
Okay.
We got kicked off.
Yeah, we had an issue. The laptop shut down, but it looks like we have everybody back. Everybody can hear us okay?
Yes.
Yep.
And yep.
All right, so I realized I'd started reading the letter, but I wasn't very far, so I'm just going to start over. So again, this letter is from a Donovan Larson about an unresolved damage at 9818 Mar Ann Court. And the letter reads, Dear Board of Trustees, my neighbors and I are beneficiaries of MSD's efforts to rid our backyards of a stormwater ponding problem. It has been an issue to us since 1980. Your work cost MSD customers around $250,000 and involved 450 feet of 18-inch sewer, porous fill installation, and a double inlet. We're very happy with your work. The unresolved issue is the repair of the gas pipes owned by Jane Kelo at 9818 Mar Ann Court. In February 2019, the contractor, J.H. Barrett Construction, struck a gas pipe that was marked on the plan, and there are attached documents, that fed a gas-fired pool water heater equipment pad. The new heater was not yet installed. The release of the gas brought the fire department and Spire crews. Barra immediately stopped the gas flow by plugging the gas line where it exited the rear house foundation 100 feet from the damaged pipe. That plugged line stopped the flow of gas to the equipment pad, the barbecue pit, and the yard gas light. The contractor left the broken line unrepaired. The resident, Jane Kelo, waited months for repair. Last fall, a year later, she contacted MSD to resolve the issue. That request resulted in Spire giving MSD a cost of $1,200 to reinstall a new gas line to the yard light only. That bid did not include restoring gas service to the pool heater pad or the barbecue pit. Spire made clear that they could not reuse the previously broken gas line. On January 11th, 21, MSD then offered Ms. Kilo a check for $1,200, stating that they were only obligated to repipe to the gas light. Ms. Kilo refused by letter dated February 5th, 21. Because MSD refused to take any further action, a competent, respected gas line contractor, Big Plumbing, was asked for a bid to repipe from the house to the gas light and to the equipment pad, where the existing gas pipe was first struck. The February 1st, 21 bid for about 120 feet of gas line, connections and trenching was $6,840, which was provided to MSD, and all that's attached. MSD refused to pay for the repair by letter on February 23rd, 21, also attached. I am asking the MSD Board of Trustees to accept the bid pricing from Big Plumbing as fair compensation for the damage done and instruct MSD staff to proceed with issuing payment. Ms. Kilo will then release MSD and proceed with the repair. Sincerely, Donovan Larson. So on this item, staff is gathering information and does plan to report back to the board. I don't think we have any further comment at this time. Okay. We received one other letter. This came from Emily Conley in Fenton. My question for the board meeting is how you are addressing the Santa Maria Creek in Fenton, Missouri. The creek is something many residents in Fenton and St. Louis County have asked about. Today, I woke up to my property falling away, and no one seems to want to address this creek issue. Excuse me. We are not the only property experiencing this. Who can help us, please, and what do we do? And she added some pictures in a video. Thank you for your time, Emily Conley. And I think we do have.
Yeah, I'll just, for the board, we haven't received, based on a quick scan of our files, we haven't received a complaint or a concern from this location before. So we are going to go out and see what's there. Remember, this location is an unfunded area for this type of service. This is the area we're going to try and fund in 2019, one of the areas that we lost the election in 2019. So staff will do what we do in these cases. We'll go out, we'll investigate, we'll make sure we have a record of what is out there, and if at all possible, we'll provide as much technical advice as we can for the property owners, and then we'll log the problem with the goal of eventually, hopefully, having a funded program sometime in the future. So staff will be going out and doing that with this property owner over the next coming weeks and let them know where the situation stands.
And those are the only comments that we have.
Those are the only comments? Thank you very much. Communications, none. Public hearing reports, none. Consent agenda.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight's consent agenda is items 10 through 21. I do have a request to pull item 15 for a separate vote. Is there any board member who would like any other item pulled for a separate vote? All right, hearing none, we'll first vote on items 10 through 14 and 16 through 21. Is there a motion for adoption?
So move.
All right, thank you. We'll take that as a motion in second. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair? Trustee Fair?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
All right, and then for item 15, which is the adoption of proposed ordinance 15-620, appropriating $1.35 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for sanitary sewer construction in a project in Overland and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Kolb Grading. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
And is there a second?
So moved.
So move.
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Abstain?
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
All right, the motion passes. We'll move to new business, starting with ordinances. And item 22 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15629, making a supplemental appropriation of $150,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for pump station improvements in the New York City Shoreline Pump Station Replacement Project in unincorporated St. Louis County and authorizing the district to appropriate additional funds to a contract with Kelp Contracting. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wabi.
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 23, the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15630, authorizing the district to enter into agreement with Webster School Senior Apartments LP for cost sharing for green infrastructure construction and the CSO volume reduction green infrastructure Webster School Senior Apartments project in the city of St. Louis. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 24 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15631, making an appropriation of $1.95 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for sanitary sewer construction in the East Watson Sanitary Relief Project in the cities of Crestwood and Sunset Hills, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Above and Below Contracting. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
So moved.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 25 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15632, making a supplemental appropriation of $600,000 from the sanitary replacement fund used for intergovernmental agreement and local match for sewer construction in the Harlem Baden Release Phase 4 project in the city of St. Louis, and authorizing the district to amend an intergovernmental agreement under contract with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 26 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15633, making an appropriation of $1.85 million from the sanitary regulatory fund and authorizing the use of $298,249.67 from previously unencumbered funds to be used for green infrastructure construction in the Market Street 2350 Green Infrastructure Entrance and Landscaping Improvements Project in the city of St. Louis, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Cosney Wagner. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 27 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15634, making a supplemental appropriation of $1,063,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for sanitary sewer construction in the Riverside and Yarnell Sanitary Relief Replacement Project in the city of Fenton, and authorizing the district to appropriate additional funds to a contract with Understall Contracting. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 28 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15635, making an appropriation of $1.5 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for sanitary sewer construction in the Spring Avenue Sanitary Relief Project in the city of Webster Groves, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Waymeyer Farms. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 29, the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15636, making an appropriation of $1.35 million from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for sanitary sewer construction in the South County Relief Force Main Replacement Project in unincorporated St. Louis County, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with J.H. Barrett Construction. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 30 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15637, making an appropriation of $2.65 million from the district-wide stormwater fund to be used for maintenance yard vehicle storage building in the maintenance yard vehicle storage building project in the city of Ferguson, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Gershenson Construction. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 31 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15638, making an appropriation of $877,000 from the district-wide stormwater fund and $448,000 from the sanitary replacement fund to be used for channel stabilization, the Martigny Creek Stream Bank Stabilization, Fairhook and Golden Valley Bank Stabilization Project in unincorporated St. Louis County, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Gershenson Construction. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
So move.
Mr. Wabi?
Second.
Thank you. Mr.
Aye.
Wabi? Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 32, the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15639, making an appropriation of $1.8 million from this district-wide stormwater fund to be used for storm sewer rehabilitation. The stormwater infrastructure repairs project in the city of St. Louis, various municipalities in St. Louis County and unincorporated St. Louis County, and authorizing the district to enter into a contract with Insituform Technologies, USA. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 33, the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15640, making a supplemental appropriation of $1 million from the district-wide stormwater fund to be used for repair and replacement of inlets, manholes, sewers, and other infrastructure in the stormwater infrastructure repairs project at various locations throughout the district, and authorizing the district to appropriate additional funds for small infrastructure repair projects to be bid through purchasing. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 34, the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15641, making a supplemental appropriation of $120,000 from the district-wide stormwater fund to be used for design of maintenance yard vehicle storage building and the maintenance yard vehicle storage building project in the city of Ferguson, and authorizing the district to enter into an amendment to a contract with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly. Is there a motion for introduction?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 35, the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15642, repealing ordinance 14687 as adopted June 8, 2017, and enacting a new ordinance in lieu thereof, providing rules and regulations governing all classified employees of the district. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 36 is the introduction of proposed ordinance number 15643, authorizing the district to lease certain real property of the district in the city of St. Louis, known and numbered as 3820 Bates to Holly Hills Improvement Association, for use as a community garden and to execute a lease agreement upon the terms and conditions hereinafter set out. Is there a motion for introduction?
So moved.
So move.
Okay, we'll take that as a motion in second. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
All right, now we'll move to resolutions, starting with item 37, the adoption of resolution 3639, expressing the Board of Trustees' appreciation to Jack K. Dobbs for his 13 years of exemplary service to the district from December 17, 2007, excuse me, to his retirement effective March 1st, 2021. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 38, the adoption of Resolution 3640, expressing the Board of Trustees' appreciation to Michael D. Jacobs for his 17 years of exemplary service to the district, from October 13th, 2003 to his retirement effective March 1st, 2021. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 39 is the adoption of Resolution 3641, expressing the Board of Trustees' appreciation to Samuel D. Holroyd for his 27 years of exemplary service to the district from January 27, 1994 to his retirement effective March 1st, 2021. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
So move.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 40 is the adoption of Resolution 3642, expressing the Board of Trustees' appreciation to Michael T. Murley for his 44 years of exemplary service to the district from January 31st, 1977. His retirement effective March 1st, 2021. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
yes,
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 41, the adoption of Resolution 3643, expressing the Board of Trustees' appreciation to email Pete Tomek for his 40 years of exemplary service to the district from November 3rd, 1980 to his retirement effective March 1st, 2021. Is there a motion for adoption?
So move.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 42, the adoption of Resolution 3644, expressing the Board of Trustees' appreciation to Thomas L. Seal for his 31 years of exemplary service to the district from July 31st, 1989 to his retirement effective March 1st, 2021. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 43 is the adoption of Resolution 3645, so bear with me on this one. This is transferring fund balances and authorizing an additional appropriation of $2,048,000 to Debt Service Fund 2833. This resolution will transfer $20,000 from Debt Service Fund 2812, $39,000 from Debt Service Fund 2816, $7,000 from Debt Service Fund 2817, $17,000 from Debt Service Fund 2818, $6,000 from Debt Service Fund 2819, $933,000 from Debt Service Fund 2822, $13,000 from Debt Service Fund 2825, $20,000 from Debt Service Fund 2826, $343,000 from Debt Service Fund 2827, and $650,000 from the General Fund 1101, all to Debt Service Fund 2833. This resolution will also transfer $21,000 from Debt Service Fund 2824 to the General Fund 1101, $45,000 from Debt Service Fund 2828 to the General Fund 1101, $40,000 from Debt Service Fund 2829 to Debt Service Fund 2834, $35,000 from Debt Service Fund 2829 to Debt Service Fund 2835, $17,000 from Debt Service Fund 2829 to General Fund 1101, $209,000 from Debt Service Fund 2832 to Debt Service Fund 2804, $791,000 from Debt Service Fund 2832 to the General Service Fund 1101. These transfers are based on an internal review and adjust for differences in actual and budgeted debt payments through the timing of the issuance of senior and subordinate bonds. This is an annual process. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
So move.
All right, we'll take that as a motion and second. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
All right, item 44 is the adoption of Resolution 3646, transferring fund balance totaling $590,000 from the Water Backup Fund 4104 to the Wastewater Emergency Fund 4122. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved. So moved.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair? Trustee Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Item 45 is the adoption of Resolution 3647 to modify the list of approved depository banks by adding the Huntington National Bank as an approved depository bank of the district. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
So moved.
Take that as a motion and a second. Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
And item 46, the adoption of Resolution 3648. Trustee Michael Yates served on the Board of Trustees of the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District from January 17th, 2012 to March 15th, 2021. Trustee Yates' strong leadership, knowledge, and expertise imparted direction and stability to the district, and his contribution to serving as both chair and member of the Program Management Committee and as a member of the Finance, Stakeholders, and Pension Plan Committees assured a continued diligent focus on the district's fiscal matters. Trustee Yates' contribution to the St. Louis community reached far beyond his service on the district's board, including but not limited to formerly serving as president, treasurer, and business representative of Operating Engineers Local 148. Additionally, Trustee Yates served on the executive board of the North County Labor Club for nearly 20 years and is currently the club's treasurer. Mr. Yates was recognized with the 2019 Herschel Walker Peace and Justice Award for his efforts in creating a more just and equitable society. Is there a motion for adoption?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Wabi?
Aye.
Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yeah, I get it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We do have one more order of business tonight, and that is the officer elections. So as we've discussed, we are going to vote for the positions of the board chair and the board vice chair. And currently, the board chair is a county representative, and so the new board chair must be a city representative and must be nominated and voted on by the county-appointed trustees. So, for the position of chairman of the Board of Trustees, I want to open the floor to county-appointed trustees. Are there any county trustees who wish to nominate a city trustee for this position?
Yes, I'd like this to be my last official motion. So I'd like to nominate Mike Evans to serve as chair of the MSD board.
All right, is there a second to that nomination?
I'll second.
All right. Are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none. Trustee Evans, I'm assuming you are willing to serve?
I am, thank you.
All right, then on the motion of making Trustee Evans the new chairman of the Board of Trustees, I will now pull the county trustees. Ms. Fair?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes,
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
All right, congratulations to Trustee Evans.
Thank you.
And I meant that. And for the position of vice chair, which is now held by a city-appointed trustee, we're going to open the floor to the city-appointed trustees to nominate a county trustee. So are there any city trustees who would like to nominate a county trustee for the position?
I would like to nominate Amy Fair because she's the only one left.
That is an excellent choice.
And
Trustee
she's
Fair,
qualified.
I sincerely hope you are willing to serve.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I should ask for a second. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Trustee Wilson. All right, so, city trustees. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well,
Can't have any, never mind.
yeah, I wasn't gonna ask for any more nominations.
Okay, you're right.
So Trustee Wabi,
Aye.
Trustee Wilson,
Aye.
Trustee Evans.
Yes.
All right, congratulations to Trustee Fair. And congratulations also to Trustee Yates and Trustee Singers for completing their terms on the board, and we thank you for your service. And I have no further business this evening.
No more further business. I would like to say before I ask for adjournment that I've enjoyed being on this board and working with the staff here at MSD. It's been very educational and it's been very worthwhile. I really appreciate it. Everybody's help here. And anybody else have anything to say before we get a motion for adjournment?
Trustee Yates, just a minute, Chair. For those of you who are on here virtually, we are going to leave. We'll stop broadcasting. We'll leave the teams up. Some of the senior staff who can't be present in the room are wanting to come down, Trustee Singer, and say some congratulations to you. So if any of the
thank you.
trustees would like to stay on the line as well, we'll keep it going after we shut off the broadcast.
well, so Mike asked if somebody else wanted to say one other thing, and I did forget to say something that I did want to say. You know, I've really feel, St. Louis gets such a bad rap about the lack of city-county regional cooperation. And I've always thought that MSD has been this model of what St. Louis does right. And that, if our city-county could ever build on what MSD's been doing for decades, we'd be a much more successful, vibrant community. That's all.
You're here.
Yep, thank you. All right.
Yeah.
I think I interrupted you from adjourning the meeting, Mr. Chairman. I apologize.
Oh, that's quite all right. I'll let you do it this time. Let it happen again.
Not again.
All right. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is second? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much. for
Thank
coming out.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.